to like collect to the radio and have the guy be like today I'd say hi to like fans going to bed at like 3 or at like 8 today, and I'm gonna like do all this stuff like Day 9 TV, do like a launch party. That was one of the early things that went on, and you have to be like, no brain, no, don't wallow. You have to like force yourself to do it. Or some days I wake up and like even today in this interview I have botched 1,000,001 attempts at answering questions. But like, where was I going with it? Oh yeah, like even in the days I'm just like, I can't figure out a topic. So much more important that you're just like, you know what, this is great, right? It's like super detached and work through ideas in a different way than just like watching a replay and going, So that the people are just awesome. Like with, everyone who has ever come up to me has been like the nicest person ever. Love me, like blah, there's like too many emotions. And if like if I'm like a lot of times I'll run to the restroom, right? Because they're like, you have 90 seconds. That's how long the commercial is, and we're going live and like running. And someone's like, can you sign? I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm live in a second. They're like, oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to bother. Like you can't imagine the amount of people who are like, I'm really sorry. Because one of the painful things I know like a lot of like real celebrities deal with is this like, please sign, oh God, and like they're literally ignoring what the celebrity's obligations are and just like begging. And in like all the chat channels, like Day 9 TV chat channel, everyone's just a bunch of sweethearts. The emails I get from people are just like, oh my God, it's like, that's what I do from 9 to 9:30 before I'm like, oh shit, time to work. So that's great. And also just like a lot of people in the industry itself are just the same passionate people as you. And that's just fun to like go to events and be like, hey, have you been? They're like, I'm pulling out my hair, but I got the event up. And I'm like, yeah, you're awesome, you know? So that's a lot of fun. So what I really like about StarCraft 2 is that, first of all, it's a competitive game. And I like a lot of competitive games. Like I watched a ton of Counter-Strike. You never quite hit the bottom of the well. It always feels like you could get a little bit deeper with those strategies. It's almost like these epic soap operas that have been going on for 25 years, where you see the characters, it's like the same actress aging, and there's a character that you followed for 7 years, and moments that happen in that character's life you can relate to because you've known this person for so long. Like that's how the strategies and the structure in StarCraft 2 feels, where, wow, that strategy has been around for like a year and a half. And they just figured out that it's actually terrible over time. Like every day you wake up and a little bit more has been written in the story of how people figured out StarCraft 2. Holy crap, here's a crazy strategy that I saw like 2 days ago. And now I'm starting to see everyone do it just like one day later, and let's talk about it, right? So that's the big appealing aspect. And why StarCraft among those? I just like resource management. It is like exactly the same, like the experience of like entrepreneur versus like playing StarCraft in a sense, because like certainly in the youth, but also just in people who've only ever just held a normal job, where the idea of the money has to come from somewhere. Like if I do this event, that's great, I did this event, and next month where does the money come from? But a lot of people didn't even know there was such a thing as event insurance, but you have to have it to do an event at like every venue. So it's like, okay, well, all right, well that money has to come from somewhere, and you like start trying to like solve all these issues, and the fact that you're so constrained is what makes it really fun and interesting. The fact that you're basically broke, scrambling, trying to figure out some way like, where are we going to get the event insurance money from? Like that's an interesting problem to have. Your army or your city, and you look at it and you're like, made that. It's awesome. It's that feeling of being like, yeah, look at that logo for Day 9 TV. Isn't that cool? Yeah, like that feeling, and then having someone come up and be like, oh, I watched your show or attended this event and it was great. I'm just like, so I've done just a little bit more work, and you have to like train yourself to just call it quits at some point. There's not players making like, you know, $700,000 a year, you know, just by signing on to a team or something like that. None of the commentators are like rolling in the dough or anything that they think I've done that they're like judging me on. Do I get involved in that? Do I not? I mean, the correct answer is that you don't, because it's like, well, what am I going to do? Be like, no, I didn't do that. And they're like, well, prove it, right? And then you get into that and you're like, well, I wouldn't want to post documentation. You know, PDF on the forum, right? But like, so you see that and you're just sort of like, okay, I have to resist this, I have to stay focused. Then you go to an event and you're tired because, I don't know, maybe there was 1,000 people online who were like, well, he's doing a really terrible job. Like, all the players experience this, all the commentators experience this. And in a sense, the community is just sort of having fun talking to each other. But again, there's a thin wall. We're all involved in the same places where the communities are talking because we're of the community. And players just have the hardest time ever. This is why you see players not streaming. It's just like too much for a lot of players. This is why you see players just saying no to a lot of events and just going, nope, only going to do them in Europe. Totally not going to go there. And some of the healthiest players I've seen are the ones who just go to a very small number of tournaments, do some streaming, have decent positions on teams, and don't sweat it.